My child, before I increase your hands, I steady your heart. Hear me. The more you ask for does not begin in the numbers you can count or the doors you can see. It begins in the quiet chambers where I shape your inner steadiness, where I teach your breath how to rest in me when pressure rises, where I make your heart a safe place for increase to land. I go before you to prepare the ground. I walk beside you to keep your pace. I stand behind you to guard what grows. You feel stretched. The bills do not ask permission before they arrive, and the budgets you draft seem to fray at the edges, while your prayers climb like smoke in a room that feels too small, and you have been tempted to call this season abandonment. But beloved child, where you call it lack, I call it formation. Where you call it pressure, I call it preparation. What feels like limitation is often my training ground for the more you keep asking me for. I am not withholding to punish. I am reordering to enlarge. I am not closing my hand. I am strengthening your grip. Remember what is written. My power is made perfect in weakness. 2 Corinthians 12:9. If I waited for you to feel strong to give you strength, you would build your life upon your own certainty and not upon me. So I let you feel the edges of what you cannot carry, not to crush you, but to teach you how to lean, how to listen, how to live by a different weight. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. Proverbs 3:5. The light I give is a lamp to your feet, not a spotlight on the entire road, so that your next step is taken with me and not ahead of me. Do not misread the stretch. When a wineskin is softened and pulled, it is not being ruined. It is being made ready to hold new wine. So it is with you. I am softening what has grown brittle. I am pulling what has grown small. I am asking you to release habits that once sustained you, but now leak your strength. I do not shout above the noise. I whisper within the quiet. If the noise has been reduced and the rush of options has narrowed, it is because I am tuning you to my voice, lower, steadier, kinder than the fear that tries to govern you. You ask me for favor and I answer, but understand this, you will recognize my favor first in your inner life before you see it on your outer ledger. The first evidence will be in how your emotions yield to my peace and how your behaviors submit to my wisdom. You will notice that panic no longer drives the wheel when pressure grows. You will catch yourself pausing to listen instead of sprinting to fix. You will see your pride soften into teachability. You will find generosity creeping into your hands, even when your pockets are not yet full. You will obey in one step rather than wait for 10 years of certainty. You will choose gratitude over comparison and discover that it shields you. And when doors finally open, you will not float away. You will remain grounded. These are the 6 signs I will walk you through, each a step that prepares you to carry the next. Beloved, I know how the nights have pressed on your chest. I know the calculations you repeat and the questions you do not voice aloud, the weary arithmetic of, will there be enough? So hear me answer you now. You are not the product of chance. You are an intention shaped from eternity. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Jeremiah 1:5. I have called you by name. You are mine. Isaiah 43:1. If I claim you, I will also coach you. If I author your story, I will also arrange its chapters. All things are being woven together for your good as you love me and walk in the purpose I have called you into. Romans 8:28. Do not confuse my pace with neglect. I am not late, I am precise. Delay is not my refusal. It is my way of building a strength that will not collapse under blessing. You have asked me for more, but more without a steady heart becomes more anxiety, more hurry, more depletion. I love you too much to give you a weight that would bend you. I am teaching you to hold without being held by it, to steward without being stolen by it. Money will not be your master, it will be your servant. Opportunity will not be your identity, it will be your assignment. Influence will not be your security, I will be. Let me set your expectation. In the coming days, you will not wake only to new income or sudden promotion. You will wake to new responses inside yourself. Where there was scrambling, there will be stillness. Where there was suspicion, there will be teachability. Where there was clutching, there will be release. Where there was delay for the sake of certainty, there will be obedience for the sake of trust. Where there was comparison, there will be gratitude. Where there was dizziness at an open door, there will be a grounded step. These are not small shifts. They are the foundation stones of lasting increase. What I build upon your life must stand when the wind changes, must bless when the season turns, must remain clean when the spotlight flickers. Be honest with me in the stretch. Bring me your ledger and your fear, your invoices and your tears. I do not despise your frailty. My power is not repelled by weakness. It is perfected there. 2 Corinthians 12:9. You do not need to rush. You do not need to be perfect. You need only to be sincere and willing. Say yes to the slow work I am doing inside you. Let me reorder what you call need. Let me separate appetite from assignment, urgency from importance, noise from voice. I go before you into the meetings you cannot yet imagine. I walk beside you through the corridors of today. I stand behind you to cover what you cannot see. In your heart, I am enlarging capacity. In your mind, I am renewing patterns. In your hands, I will soon place more, but not before your heart learns how to hold me first. When you are weak, do not call yourself disqualified, call yourself ready to be taught. When you are unsure, do not freeze. Take the next faithful step. The path will clarify beneath your foot. Beloved child, breathe. Let this be your confidence. You are being trained, not tried for punishment, formed, not forgotten, guided, not guessing in the dark. The journey ahead will unfold in 6 signs, like lanterns set at intervals, each one preparing you to carry the next measure of grace I intend to entrust to you. Attend to the first lights within. I will handle the doors without. Step with me, not ahead of me, and you will watch favor take shape first as peace, then as paths, then as provision. Be still, listen for my whisper, and prepare your heart. I am steadying you for increase. Beloved child, come into the quiet with me now. I am not calling you into an audit of shame, but into an inventory of truth. When I begin to reorder what you have called need, you will feel a strange internal shift, small at first, like light slipping under a closed door, and then undeniable, like morning that can no longer be ignored. You will notice how often your sense of safety rises and falls with a number on a screen, how a purchase you call necessary is really medicine for an ache I am ready to heal, how your worth tries to borrow its voice from what you can produce or possess. This is not to accuse you, it is to free you. I go before you into these rooms. I walk beside you as you open each drawer. I stand behind you to cover what you fear you will find. Do not confuse conviction with condemnation. My light does not come to shame you. It comes to make you clear, not scarcity but precision, not a harsher yoke but a truer center. When you feel me removing clutter from your internal shelves, opinions you no longer need to carry, urgencies that never belong to you, the habit of buying silence with noise, I am not reducing your life. I am reducing the interference so you can hear what is truly necessary. Favor often begins when I reduce the noise in you, so that peace can become your compass and not your prize at the end of anxiety. You have asked me for direction, and I am giving it, not as a map of 1,000 miles, but as a lamp for the next faithful step. As it is written, your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. Psalm 119, 105. The lamp I place in your hand does not flood you with answers you would worship. It illumines the next honest admission and the next courageous adjustment. I am not asking you to decide the rest of your life in an afternoon. I am inviting you to tell the truth about this moment, about what you actually need to honor what I have assigned you, and what you have called need, because fear taught you to. Listen, when stress arrives, you check your balance before you check with me. When loneliness pricks, you fill a cart you call reward for labor I gave you grace to do. When you feel behind, you take on commitments that pay you with applause but charge you with exhaustion. See it now and do not turn away. You cannot unsee what I have revealed, and that is my mercy. I go before you to separate appetite from assignment. I walk beside you as you release the right to numb your ache. I stand behind you, protecting you from the false urgencies that once drove you. You will not drown here. You are not being embarrassed. You are being unburdened. Beloved, I put my hand on your shoulder like a father teaching a child to breathe differently. Slower, deeper, truer. Let me count with you. What do you truly need to fulfill today's obedience? Strength to keep your word. Wisdom to discern what is yours to hold. Bread for the day, not for the decade of imaginations that feed your worry. Manna came by the morning and hoarding rotted it. So it is with you. I am teaching you to trust provision as presence, not as proof of your value. My power is made perfect in weakness. 2 Corinthians 12:9. In the place where your hands feel light, your heart can become heavy with my peace. This too you must see. Need is not only about money. It is also about validation disguised as duty, about being seen so you do not have to sit with the quiet, where I am reshaping you, about saying yes so you do not have to risk disappointing those who never had the authority to name you. When I start reordering what you call need, I will nudge you to cancel the subscriptions of the soul, the auto-renewing agreements with insecurity, with proving with appearances. I will ask you to end the small transactions that buy you a momentary sense of control while selling off pieces of your rest. My child, this is not punishment. It is pruning, and pruning is proof that you are bearing fruit. John 15:2. I do not shout above the noise. I whisper within the quiet. Hear me say it plainly. I am not stripping you. I am streamlining you. The discomfort you feel is the gap between what you thought would satisfy and what truly sustains. Let the light do its work. Let the precision locate the leak. Let me write "not needed" across the expenses that pretend to be comfort and the commitments that pretend to be calling. You will not become less. You will become focused. You will not become rigid. You will become free. As this inventory unfolds, you will watch cravings lose their crown. The impulse to fix your feelings with spending will pause under my gaze. The urge to calculate your safety by digits alone will loosen its grip as you begin to measure your day by my presence. Doors may still be closed for a time. Bills may still come due. Choices will still require courage. But inside, something definitive will shift. You will sense a new stillness where the scramble used to be. You will begin to ask different questions, not "how can I get more?" but "what truly matters here?" Not "what will make them think well of me?" but "what honors what you have given me to carry?" This is the first scent of favor, the quiet clarity that precedes the unlocking of rooms on the outside. Walk with me in simple steps. Perhaps I will ask you to set aside a small portion and call it seed, not because I need your money, but because you need to see yourself as more than a consumer of comforts. Perhaps I will ask you to wait 24 hours before making a purchase, not to deny joy, but to discover whether joy was ever in that object at all. Perhaps I will ask you to speak honestly with the one you have been hiding the numbers from, to bring darkness into light so that the lie of "I am alone in this" can die at last. I am not showing you the whole path, only the next honest step. Take it with me and your footing will strengthen. I go before you into conversations that used to make your chest tighten. I walk beside you as you look at the ledger without flinching. I stand behind you, shielding you from the accusations that used to narrate your life. You are not behind. You are mid-formation. You are not foolish for needing me. You are wise for yielding where pride once stood guard. This is how I prepare a vessel for increase, not by enlarging its mouth to take in more, but by strengthening its base to spill nothing and to leak no peace. Beloved child, let gratitude rise as you lay down false needs, for every release is space for me. As you bless what you already have and call it enough for today, you will find that contentment begins to guard your heart like a shield. Philippians 4:11-13 speaks of learning this secret. So will you, because I am your teacher. And as the appetite to soothe yourself with more grows quiet, you will hear the first clear whisper of the next section of our journey. When panic loosens, listening returns. Let this be your confidence. Favor has already begun in you, not as applause from the outside, but as peace that takes its seat at the center. Step with me into the next light, one faithful footfall at a time. Beloved child, here is the first sign that my favor is already at work within you. You stop panicking and you start listening. The bills are the same. The numbers have not changed their faces. The calendar still asks its questions. Yet in the space where you used to sprint, you now pause. Where you used to obey fear, you now notice it and refuse to let it drive. I go before you into due dates and balances. I walk beside you as you open the envelope you once avoided. I stand behind you when old accusations try to narrate your worth. The scene has not shifted, but the seat of authority in your heart has. You whisper, but I still feel anxious sometimes. I hear you. I am not scolding your body for sounding an alarm it learned in long seasons of scarcity. I am retraining your heart to treat the alarm as a signal to seek me, not a siren commanding your steps. There is no need to rush, no need to be perfect, only to be sincere and willing. You are learning steadiness, not staging a performance of calm. The measure of growth is not the absence of butterflies. It is that you do not let them steer the ship. Do not misunderstand this peace. It is not reckless peace that ignores responsibility or denies reality. It is anchored peace that casts its weight upon me even while numbers remain unanswered and timelines remain incomplete. As it is written, "Be still and know that I am God." Psalm 46:10. This is not a call to freeze in passivity. It is an instruction to recognize the true center. Be still, cease the frantic internal striving, and settle into the reality that I am your source, your sustainer, your strategist. Again, hear the practice that preserves you. Do not be anxious about anything, but in everything by prayer and supplication. With thanksgiving let your requests be made known unto God. Philippians 4:6. Bring me the ledger, the deadline, the dread, and the decision. Give them names. Hand them over in words. Thank me for what I have already done, and watch as the guard of peace takes its post at the door of your mind. This stillness is not empty, it is attentive. When panic loosens its grip, you can hear what you could not hear before, the small corrections, the hidden wisdom, the timing that keeps blessing from becoming burden. I do not shout above the noise, I whisper within the quiet. In the pause between the fear and the reaction, my counsel fits like a key. Call today rather than delay, ask for clarity rather than assume, pay what is honest and plan what is possible. Let go of the purchase that promised relief, but would have purchased regret. A steady heart can hear small instructions, and small instructions steer you from cliffs you did not see. Notice the shifts I am already producing in you. You start counting breaths before you count failures. You look at the problem and then you look to me, and you do not let the first look decide the story. You answer the phone instead of avoiding it, because the voice that used to rise and crush you now meets a practiced phrase within you. Be still. He is God. You find your mind returning to thanksgiving in the very places where complaint used to rule, and the atmosphere within you changes the choices before you. You are becoming safe to entrust with more because more will not be asked to prove what is already settled. You are mine, and I am your enough. This sign will show up in small, ordinary ways that carry extraordinary consequence. You will wait 1 hour before you reply to the message that pricked your insecurity. You will sleep on a decision rather than buy a feeling with debt. You will seek counsel without the shame that once made you hide. You will pray first, plan second, and then proceed, step by step, with me pacing you rather than fear pushing you. My child, this is not slowness. This is strength. Understand this too. Peace does not mean you never tremble. It means you tremble toward me. When worry surges, you will catch it earlier because we have trained for this moment. You will name it without marrying it. You will say, Father, here it is, and you will feel the pressure fall from commander to informant. You will be surprised by how much wisdom becomes available when you are not trying to silence your feelings with frantic action, but to shepherd them into my presence. The same facts, a different future, because you chose listening over panic. I go before you to prepare the conversation that once knotted your stomach, and I favor you with words that fit the moment. I walk beside you when you balance the little you have against what seems to ask for more, and I whisper the next faithful step. I stand behind you, shielding you from the story shame tells about you when you cannot yet see the outcome. My peace is not a mood. It is my presence establishing order within you. Let me assure you of what this signifies. When fear no longer drives you, your heart becomes safe to entrust with more. I will not give abundance to an engine still fueled by panic. It would only run you into deeper exhaustion. But a heart that pauses and listens can be steered through favor without capsizing under it. You are learning to hear the difference between the urgent and the important, between the loud that flatters and the quiet that fits. This is how discernment is born, one unhurried choice at a time, one breath prayed instead of muttered, one yes given to wisdom, and one no spoken to frenzy. Beloved child, keep practicing this holy stillness. When the wave rises, plant your feet and remember, be still and know that I am God. Psalm 46:10. When the list overflows, lift it up and remember, do not be anxious about anything, but in everything by prayer and supplication, with thanksgiving present your requests to me. Philippians 4:6. I am not late. I am forming your inner captain so the outer waters cannot capsize you. In this steadiness, I can now teach you timing and restraint, how to wait without withering and to move without panic's permission. You are not behind. You are being trained for increase. Stay with me in the pause. Listen for my whisper and watch how doors begin to open to a heart that will walk through them wisely. Beloved child, now that your ears are learning the language of stillness, come with me into the discipline of delay, where I teach you to wait without withering. Hear me. Delay is not my refusal. It is my way of building strength that will not collapse under blessing. What feels like a pause is not emptiness. It is endurance being installed, an inner capacity that cannot be downloaded instantly or borrowed from someone else. Roots do not announce themselves above ground, but they are the reason a tree can hold the weight of its future. So it is with you. I go before you into the days that seem to stretch longer than you think you can bear. I walk beside you when you are tempted to fill the quiet with any noise that promises speed. I stand behind you, guarding you from the accusations that use the word delay as if it were the same as denied. It is not. In this space, I am not punishing your desire. I am purifying your dependence. I am not silencing your life. I am engraving patience into your decisions so that when doors open, you do not sprint past wisdom simply because you can. Remember what is written. The testing of your faith produces perseverance. James 1:3. The test is not for me to discover who you are. I already know you. The test is so you can discover that your footing stands when the wind changes, so perseverance can set its work within you. Patience is not passive, it is muscular trust. The choice to remain rooted in me when impulse whispers, prove yourself. And again, hear this compass I place in your hand. In their hearts, humans plan their course, but the Lord establishes their steps. Proverbs 16:9. I am not forbidding plans. I am freeing you from worshiping them. You plan, I pace, you reach, I ready, you ask, I arrange. Look at Abraham, beloved. I spoke, and he stepped without coordinates, holding a promise that did not come with a calendar. He did not receive a map of every mile. He lived by the lamp of each day's obedience. His timeline stretched, his body aged. The promise seemed more impossible by the hour, and yet in the waiting, something truer than his timeline grew, a trust that made him father not only by biology but by faith. So it is with you. I am making you the kind of person whose identity is not secured by what has arrived yet, but by who has spoken. Consider Joseph. A dream was placed in a young heart, bright as morning, and then came pit and prison, the unrequested classrooms where leadership was formed. He was held back before he was lifted up so that the lifting would not unmake him. In rooms that felt like delay, he learned language, strategy, forgiveness, administration, humility, and the art of carrying favor without letting it carry him away. When his moment came, he did not perform a miracle. He applied wisdom forged in hidden years. So it is with you. I am not wasting you, I am waiting you, so your words and choices carry substance when influence arrives. You whisper to me, but it feels like nothing is happening, and I answer you gently. Seed under soil feels like silence to impatient eyes, yet within that darkness, life is dividing, ordering, strengthening. I do not shout above the noise. I whisper within the quiet, writing pace into your patterns, restraints that will save you from opportunities that come too soon and appetites that demand relief right now. Delay is not denial. Delay is development. My child, if I gave you everything you pray for at the speed you imagine, you would be tempted to confuse having with being, momentum with maturity, applause with approval. Learn to read this season accurately. Waiting without withering does not mean you do nothing. It means you do the right things at the right pace. You practice the small obediences that sharpen capacity. You study what you will need when the door opens, so that opportunity does not find you unprepared. You simplify the commitments that dilute your strength, so you can say yes with clean focus. You learn to ask wise questions and receive correction without collapsing into shame. You build systems that honor what I have assigned you, rather than chasing every signal flare that promises faster. This is how I prepare you for more without letting more own you. I know the ache of your how long. I do not despise the question. Bring it to me, and I will sit with you in it. There is no need to rush, no need to be perfect, only to be sincere and willing. While you wait, I will teach you the rhythms of manna, not hoarding tomorrow's security in today's fear, but receiving today's provision with today's gratitude. I will show you how to water what you already have, so it does not wither under your neglect, while you gaze at fields you have not been given to tend. I will anchor you again and again in the assurance that you are not behind. You are on my clock, and my clock is precise. Notice how delay begins to draw out the gifts buried beneath urgency. Patience breeds clarity, clarity feeds courage, courage births obedience, obedience confirms direction, direction attracts provision. This is the quiet chain that panic could never produce. In delay, you will find that your appetite for shortcuts starts to shrink, and your respect for process starts to rise. You will recognize the difference between a push and a call, between a sale and a seed, between relief and release. Your language will change from "I must have it now" to "I will have it when it serves the assignment." And in that shift, peace plants itself deeper than the circumstances that shift around you. Hear this, beloved child. I am disciplining your desires so they do not discipline you later. I am stretching your days so that rush loses its power to name you. I am letting you come to the end of cleverness so that wisdom can begin. The testing of your faith is producing perseverance, and perseverance is not making you smaller. It is enlarging your ability to carry what you once only dreamed of touching. You are not being consumed in the fire. You are being refined so you can reflect what you carry rather than distort it. As you yield to this pace, humility takes root. The delay softens your pride and frees you from the performance that demanded you always be first, fastest, most certain. You start asking, "Teach me," where once you insisted, "Trust me." You seek counsel not to be validated, but to be guided. You say, "I do not know yet," and it does not feel like failure. It feels like safety. And within this softened ground, your second sign begins to surface. You become teachable again, even when the learning bruises your pride. This is favor taking deeper form, because a heart that can be corrected can also be entrusted. So do not despise these days that seem to stretch. I go before you into the appointed time. I walk beside you in the ordinary hours between. I stand behind you, gathering the loose ends you cannot yet tie. Plan with me, and let me establish your steps. Proverbs 16:9. Sit in the classroom of delay without bitterness, and let perseverance finish its work in you. Let patience become the habit of your decisions, so blessing does not make you brittle. Wait with me, not ahead of me, and you will not wither. You will be readied. And as humility rises from this waiting, prepare your heart. I'm about to speak to you about correction that heals and instruction that lifts, for the next sign of favor is already pressing through the soil. Beloved child, here is the second sign that my favor is working its way into the core of you. You become teachable again, even when the learning bruises your pride. You stop needing to be right to feel safe. You stop needing to appear fine to feel valuable. You begin to ask for wisdom, and not as decoration for your already made decisions, but as direction that can still change your course. I favor the heart that can be corrected, because it can also be entrusted. I go before you into the conversations where you once carried armor instead of ears. I walk beside you when counsel confronts what you wanted to defend. I stand behind you so that humility does not feel like abandonment. This is not humiliation. This is healing. Not exposure to shame, but exposure to light. Not the end of your strength, but the beginning of your wisdom. Notice the quiet pivot I am forming within you. Where you once answered questions with explanations, you begin to answer them with curiosity. Where you once rushed to justify, you begin to ask, "Help me understand." Where you once hid the numbers because they made you feel small, you begin to place them on the table and say, "Teach me what I am not seeing." What felt like loss of control at first becomes the discovery that control was never your refuge. Truth is, as it is written, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding." Proverbs 3:5. Hear that again. Not because you are unintelligent, but because your understanding is too narrow a throne to carry the weight of your future. I am reprogramming your reflexes, moving you from leaning on your conclusions to leaning into my counsel. Do not despise the sting when correction lands. The soreness you feel is pride loosening its grip. Let it open your hands. Let it disarm your defenses. When you receive a no you did not anticipate, do not sprint to find a yes somewhere else. Sit with me and ask why the no is mercy. When a mentor points to a blind spot, do not call it an attack, call it a window. Faithful are the wounds of a friend. Proverbs 27:6. Rebuke a wise person and he will grow wiser. Proverbs 9:9. These are not the breaks that ruin you. These are the pressure points that straighten what would have carried the weight wrong and shattered under blessing. Hear me explain why this matters for the more you have asked me to entrust to you. Pride spends, humility builds. Pride turns increase into proof and uses it to purchase image. Humility turns increase into seed and uses it to build future. Pride treats advice like an accusation. Humility treats advice like an inheritance. If I were to pour more into a vessel that cannot be corrected, the vessel would mistake overflow for endorsement of every impulse and would spill what was meant to be stewarded. But teachability is stewardship. A teachable heart can course correct while it moves, and that is how journeys reach appointed destinations rather than famous detours. Watch how this sign shows up in your everyday. You ask for help setting a simple, honest budget, and you keep it, not because it flatters you, but because it frees you. You bring the overdue bill into the open and make a plan you can actually carry, asking for counsel rather than hiding in shame. You accept that a smaller start with integrity will take you farther than a large leap that costs your peace. You read, you ask questions, you learn the language of what you are called to carry instead of faking fluency. You apologize quickly when you overcommit, and your word regains its weight because it is now anchored in truth rather than in the fear of disappointing. Your yes begins to mean yes, not because you say it more loudly, but because you say it more slowly and sincerely. Beloved, listen to the difference I am building in you. Defensiveness closes doors, even quiet ones. Curiosity opens them, first within you, then before you. Self-protection narrates every suggestion as threat. Truth receives it as guidance, sorting with peace what aligns with assignment and releasing what does not. There is no need to rush, no need to be perfect, only to be sincere and willing. I do not shout above the noise. I whisper within the quiet, and a teachable heart has the volume set to hear me. You will feel the fruit of this shift in your relationships. You will invite the right kind of eyes to look with you, those not enthralled by your image, but committed to your becoming. You will no longer seek the echo that tells you what you already believe. You will seek the mirror that shows you what you need to see. You will bless the counsel that saves you from costly shortcuts. And when you must choose between appearing impressive and becoming faithful, you will choose the path that does not shimmer because you have learned that shine without structure is a trap. I go before you to send wise voices at the right time. I walk beside you to steady you as you receive. I stand behind you to shelter you from the shame that tries to weaponize your mistakes. Know this, teachability does not reduce your authority, it refines it. The leaders I raise, I first make listeners. The stewards I trust, I first make students. Moses learned the desert before he led people through it. David learned the sling and the fields before the throne. Even my disciples learned to ask, "Explain this to us," and in their questions, I formed them. So it is with you. You are not being demoted by correction. You are being developed for weight you could not yet bear. As you yield to instruction, integrity begins to root itself deeper than your image. You stop over-promising out of fear and under-delivering out of exhaustion. You say, "I will do this," and then you arrange your life so that you can. You say no without apology when the no protects what I assigned you to carry. Your calendar begins to tell the truth about your calling. Your money begins to obey the mission rather than your moods. Your yes means yes. Your no is clean. This is the architecture of trust, and trust is the road on which increase travels safely. Keep walking this way with me. When correction comes, breathe, listen, ask, and adjust one step at a time. When you do not know, say so and let wisdom meet you where honesty makes room. When embarrassment whispers that learning is late for you, answer it with this: I am not behind. I am being built. As it is written, trust in the Lord with all your heart. Do not lean on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge me, and I will make your paths straight. Proverbs 3:5-6. I am straightening what pride bent and aligning what fear warped. Beloved child, I am not diminishing you. I am making you dependable. I am not taking your voice. I am tuning it. I am not delaying your increase. I am ensuring it will not destroy you. Hold this assurance close. I favor the heart that can be corrected, because it can also be entrusted. And as your teachability matures, we will step into a deeper freedom. Your relationship with money itself will be healed, moving from master to servant, so that what you hold will finally serve what I have called you to become. Beloved child, now come closer and hear me with a quieted heart. Before I increase what you hold, I free you from what used to hold you. I am healing your relationship with money, moving it from master to servant, from a throne that judged you to a tool that serves purpose. You have carried money like a judge whose verdict decided your worth, like a comforter you ran to for relief, like a savior you hoped would finally silence the ache of not enough. And you are weary because no currency can carry the weight of being God to a human soul. That burden belongs to me alone. I go before you into the statements you avoid and the balances that have felt like mirrors of your value. I walk beside you as we open numbers you once hid from, steadying your breath with mine. I stand behind you when shame tries to narrate your story, with invoices and interest rates, covering your back with truth. You are not your balance, you are mine. As it is written, the earth is the Lord's, and everything in it. Psalm 24:1. If all is mine, then money is not a rival king. It is one of my resources to be directed by wisdom for your assignment. Hear the deeper bondage I am breaking. When money sits enthroned in your heart, scarcity becomes a siren that rules your decisions, and excess becomes a drug that numbs your discernment. You either beg from fear or spend from fantasy. You either hoard to protect from imagined storms or chase purchases to patch quiet wounds. Neither is freedom. Neither is stewardship. I am removing the crown from money and placing it where it belongs, upon my head, and I am putting money into your hands as a servant of the mission I have given you. This healing begins with a reordering of allegiance. Listen to the recalibration I speak over you. Not, I will never have enough, but I will be faithful with what is in front of me. Not, when I get more, I will be generous, but with what I have now, I will obey. Not, money will save me, but you, Father, are my source, and money is one of many tools you use. Seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be added unto you. Matthew 6:33. Do not treat these words as a transaction. If I do this, then you must do that. Treat them as a priority alignment. When the kingdom is first, provision finds its order. When righteousness leads, resources follow the path of purpose. I do not shout above the noise. I whisper within the quiet, and in that whisper I am teaching you to ask a new question. What is money for in this season? Not, what can it prove? Not, how can it hide me? But, how can it serve what you assigned me? When your heart listens like this, money loses its power to command or condemn you. It becomes a servant receiving instructions. Feed this obligation with integrity. Water this seed with consistency. Strengthen this boundary with restraint. Bless this person with quiet generosity. You are moving from being driven by money's moods to directing money by my mission. Understand this too. I am not romanticizing lack. I am redeeming order. You will still plan, budget, and pay. You will still face decisions where the numbers feel tight. But now, planning becomes worship instead of panic. Budgeting becomes clarity instead of punishment. Payment becomes honesty instead of penance. Your accounts are not altars to anxiety. They are tables where we meet, spread the papers before me, and decide together what faithfulness looks like this month. My child, there is no need to rush, no need to be perfect, only to be sincere and willing. You are not behind. You are being built. Listen to the declarations that will replace the vows fear once wrote within you. Where you once swore, I will never be poor again, and became enslaved to proving it, you will now confess, I will never be mastered by money. I will be mastered by Christ. Where you once whispered, if I can just make this amount, I will finally feel safe, you will now declare, my safety is in your presence, and you will teach me to steward whatever you place in my hands. No one can serve two masters. You cannot serve God and money. Matthew 6:24. I am not taking money from you, I am taking mastery from it. Practically, this freedom will look like small, holy choices that accumulate into a new way of living. You will pause before purchases that promise immediate relief and ask, does this serve the assignment or just soothe the anxiety? You will honor commitments without burying yourself in appearances. You will invite counsel into your finances, not to embarrass you, but to establish you. You will accept that a simple life aligned with me is not a downgrade. It is a doorway. Godliness with contentment is great gain. 1 Timothy 6:6. Contentment here is not complacency. It is oxygen for wisdom. It calms your heart so you can hear me. I am also healing the story shame told about your past with money. Some of your choices were made in survival, some in ignorance, some in pride. I know every page. Bring them to me, and I will not scold you into silence. I will school you into strength. Confess, make amends where needed. Ask for help without rehearsing humiliation. Let the light in. Where you have felt that every dollar is a test of your identity, I will make each dollar a test of your obedience, and obedience is lighter than image. When you obey, peace returns to its seat of authority within you. Hear the promise that steadies you as you reorder. My God shall supply all your need according to his riches in glory in Christ Jesus. Philippians 4:19. Supply, yes, but note the order. I supply according to purpose, not pressure. I supply for calling, not compulsion. As you seek first the kingdom, the things that would have once led you by the nose now take their proper place. Added, not adored. Used, not worshipped. Where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. Matthew 6:21. This is why I touch the treasure first, so your heart can be guided. As money descends from throne to toolbox, you will feel a surprising ease rise within you. Space that used to be crowded by comparison and fear now becomes available for clarity and compassion. The thought, when I finally have enough, then I will live differently, will be replaced with, I will live faithfully now, and I will be ready for more when more serves the call. Do not measure your freedom by the size of your surplus, but by the steadiness of your surrender. My power is made perfect in weakness. 2 Corinthians 12:9. Even with little, you will discover you are far richer in wisdom, peace, and purpose than when much was managed by fear. And here is the gentle transition I have been preparing in you. When money stops ruling you, generosity awakens, not as performance to be seen, but as freedom that flows. A heart unchained from proving can release without panic, can give without stage lights, can plant small seeds with quiet joy. This is not a strategy to make me give you more. It is the symptom of a healed allegiance. I go before you to the opportunities where small kindness will open large doors of impact. I walk beside you as you discern what to release and what to reserve. I stand behind you, protecting you from the pressure to give for applause or to withhold for fear. Beloved child, receive this core revelation as a steadying hand on your shoulder. I am not increasing what you hold to impress anyone. I am training you so that increase becomes a servant of impact. Before I add to your hand, I free your heart. Place money back into its rightful place today. Ask me how to deploy it, not how to marry it. Seek first my kingdom, not to bargain but to belong, and watch as provision arrives in the right form, at the right time, for the right assignment. Stay with me in this healing, for the next sign of favor will rise naturally from this freedom. You will become quietly generous, even in small measures, and in that release, you will find yourself refilled without fear. Beloved child, here is the third sign that my favor is taking root in you. You become quietly generous, even in small measures, not because you are trying to be noticed, not because you are bargaining for blessing, but because your heart has found a new allegiance and your hands begin to mirror it. You find yourself sharing what you have without rehearsing a speech about why you can't. You tip where you once tightened. You help without photographing the help. You send a message of encouragement that no one will applaud, but one weary soul will treasure. You offer time you had guarded, attention you had rationed, and kindness you once sold to those who could repay it. I go before you into these moments to prepare the soil of another heart. I walk beside you to steady your courage as you release what feels small. I stand behind you to silence the accusation that says, "This won't matter." It matters. So it is with you. Understand this clearly. Generosity in this season is not recklessness. It is obedience. It is giving aligned with peace, wisdom, and discernment, not with pressure, panic, or performance. You will learn to check your spirit, to ask me, "Is this for me to do?" and to trust the answer, even if it surprises your pride. I do not shout above the noise. I whisper within the quiet, and my whisper will not push you past your peace. There is no need to rush, no need to be perfect, only to be sincere and willing. When you give, give from assignment, not from anxiety. When you say no, say it with love, not with shame. Holy boundaries and holy generosity belong to the same heart. As it is written, God loves a cheerful giver. 2 Corinthians 9:7. Cheerful here does not mean loud or extravagant. It means unentangled, free from the grimace of reluctance and the grin of showmanship. I am teaching you circulation. What I can send through you, I can send to you. Where your hand is open, your heart stops hoarding oxygen, and life begins to move again. Rivers remain pure by flowing, not by damming. Stagnation grows in closed ponds. Abundance grows where there is in and out movement aligned with purpose. He who supplies seed to the sower and bread for food will supply and increase your store of seed. 2 Corinthians 9:10. Note the order. Seed to the sower. I entrust increase where I find flow, not display. Watch how this looks in your ordinary days. You round up your bill because you sense the prompting. You bring a meal without ceremony. You forgive a small debt rather than extracting dignity alongside dollars. You offer to babysit so a tired friend can breathe. You quietly cover someone's subscription so they can keep learning what will lift their life. You write a note that costs you 5 minutes and gives them 5 months of courage. None of these will trend. All of these will count. The God of all comfort comforts you in all your tribulation, so that you can comfort those in any trouble with the comfort you have received. 2 Corinthians 1:4. Comfort becomes currency. Mercy becomes means. What I poured into you does not evaporate when it leaves your hand. It multiplies as it moves through your obedience. Do not despise small. Do not wait until generosity looks like a headline. Remember the widow who gave 2 mites, measured by some as nothing, measured by me as everything, because it was aligned with faith. So it is with you. Your small release today is rehearsal for faithful stewardship tomorrow. Your quiet yes now tunes your ear to my next assignment. A heart that releases in faith is a heart I can refill without fear. I am not anxious about pouring into you because your hands no longer cling as if I will never speak again. You trust me to speak again. You trust me to supply again. But here the guardrails that keep this sign pure. Generosity is not a way to avoid hard conversations or to buy acceptance you are afraid to ask for. It is not the costume you wear when shame says you are only valuable if you are needed. It is not a strategy to manipulate outcomes or to position yourself for applause. Do not give to control. Do not give to be seen. As it is written, when you give alms, do not let your left hand know what your right hand is doing, so that your giving may be in secret. And your Father who sees in secret will reward you. Matthew 6:3-4. The reward I speak of first is not a number, it is a nature, peace that does not rise and fall with opinion, joy unhooked from display, clarity that comes from obedience, followed by quiet. You will notice how this sign lightens your life. The fear that once tightened every decision will begin to loosen, not because your accounts have suddenly swelled, but because your allegiance has shifted. Gratitude will become a shield. Comparison will lose its voice. You will celebrate others' increase without feeling smaller. You will bless without narrating to yourself how generous you are. You will seed into places that align with your assignment and your community's health. Content to know that heaven keeps its own records with perfect accuracy. And when I whisper, not this one, you will hold back without guilt, honoring that obedience sometimes gives and sometimes withholds, so that giving remains love and not addiction. Beloved child, this is how I am training your hands to move with your heart. I go before you to set up divine appointments, where your small offering unlocks a large courage in someone else. I walk beside you to keep your pace sustainable, so that generosity does not come at the cost of your stewardship. I stand behind you to gather the harvest in ways you could not engineer if you tried. All things work together for good to those who love me and are called according to my purpose. Romans 8:28. Your part is to love and to obey. Mine is to orchestrate and to multiply. Know this too, as generosity awakens, it will gently expose your motives. When applause does not arrive, disappointment will try to rise and reveal if you were giving to be seen. When return is delayed, impatience will test whether you were sowing to receive a guaranteed timeline. Let these exposures be teachers, not accusers. I am bringing you into the purifying fire, not to consume you, but to refine the places where your heart still needs the spotlight. I will make your motives clean so that blessing never becomes your identity and the platform never becomes your prison. Keep walking with me. Keep releasing in faith. The flow I form within you now will become the channel through which I entrust greater measures, and your increase will remain steady, clean, and directed because its source and aim are the same, my heart through yours, for the good of many. Beloved child, now feel my hand upon your shoulder as I lead you into the purifying fire, not to burn you down, but to burn away what clung to you that was never you. The heat you feel is not punishment, it is precision. As gold is placed in a crucible until what is unlike gold separates and rises to the surface, so I am allowing heat to touch your motives until what is unlike love Unlike truth, unlike faith rises and can be skimmed away. What looks like burning is actually separation. Gold from mixture, calling from ego, obedience from image. When he has tested me, I shall come forth as gold. Job 23:10. I go before you into the furnace to set the temperature that will refine without destroying. I walk beside you so that the heat does not isolate you into despair. I stand behind you, guarding the parts of you I have already made whole, while we tend to what still needs cleansing. Do not fear the hiss and crackle of this season. Dross makes noise as it loosens. Silence on the surface does not mean nothing is happening. It means the fire is faithfully doing its work underneath. Here is the soul work I am forming. Your motives stop needing to be seen. You begin to do what is right because it is right, even when no one claps, even when it does not polish your image, even when it offers you no instant relief. You answer emails with honesty because integrity matters, not because visibility rewards it. You keep agreements when the room is empty. You return what is not yours without broadcasting virtue. You bless those who cannot repay, and you do not seed a narrative to make sure others know you did. You intercede for someone privately rather than hint publicly. You celebrate another's increase without inserting your name into their story. The spotlight no longer bribes you. It no longer threatens you. Your applause is me. Listen to me name the exchanges this fire invites. Not striving for recognition, but resting in identity. Not hustling to be noticed, but moving in assignment. Not performing to be loved, but working from love. You are mine. Isaiah 43:1. Hear those words again. You are mine. Before any platform, before any provision, before any role, you belonged. The fire is reclaiming that center so that everything you do flows from belonging, not toward it. When belonging is secured, recognition loses its leverage. As it is written, he will sit as a refiner and purifier of silver. Malachi 3:3. Refiner's work is slow and watchful. He sits, eyes on the metal, adjusting heat, never leaving the crucible unattended, waiting until he can see his reflection in the surface. Beloved, I am not far from you in this. I am near, attuned, patient. When the heat reveals envy, I skim it. When the heat reveals the addiction to being first, I skim it. When the heat reveals a charity that still needed to be photographed to feel real, I skim it. I do not shame you. I separate you from what was hurting you. I will touch the places where outcomes have been your nourishment. You have measured worth by metrics, views, responses, promotions, balances, tiny rulers that keep shrinking you. In the fire, those rulers melt. I replace them with better measures, faithfulness in secret, peace in decision, joy not dependent on audience, truth even when it costs you appearances. As it is written, the testing of your faith produces perseverance. James 1:3. Perseverance is not stubborn image maintenance. It is grounded obedience that keeps moving when the cameras are off and the applause has gone home. Do not resist when I gently withhold visibility for a time. Hiding is not a punishment when I author it. It is protection and preparation. I hid Moses in the desert before a nation saw him. I hid David among sheep before a crown ever touched his head. I hid Joseph in prison before purpose opened the palace door. So it is with you. In hiddenness, your motives find their right weight. Your roots grow strong enough to anchor growth, and you learn to hear my whisper without lending your ear to every loud opinion. I do not shout above the noise. I whisper within the quiet, and the quiet is where I straighten what crowds would only celebrate crooked. Here is how you will know the fire is doing its good work. You will stop asking, who will see, and start asking, is this obedience? You will decline a platform that does not match your assignment, even if it flatters your ego. You will choose excellence in the small, because excellence is your worship, not your advertisement. You will not resent being the one who prepares what another delivers if I asked you to prepare it. You will bless what I do through others without inserting a parenthetical to remind the world you were there. Your heart will inhale peace when anonymous because anonymity no longer feels like absence, it feels like intimacy. I go before you to close doors that would have trapped you beneath lights you were not built to live under yet. I walk beside you as you learn to delight in my approval, even when human approval is slow. I stand behind you to announce you at the appointed time in a way you do not have to maintain through performance. There is no need to rush, no need to be perfect, only to be sincere and willing. Your sincerity is the place where fire purifies fastest, because truth opens and pride resists. Do not confuse refinement with rejection. This is not me pushing you out. This is me pulling you in. This is not the end of your influence. This is the foundation of it. I refine you so the blessing won't become your identity, and the spotlight won't become your prison. If I gave you more before this was settled, you would mistake applause for oxygen and suffocate when it faded. But I am teaching you to breathe me, so that whether the room leans in or looks away, you remain. Remember the words already written for your strengthening. When he has tested me, I shall come forth as gold. Job 23:10. For you, O God, have tested us. You refined us as silver. Psalm 66:10. Precious metals do not argue with the fire. They yield. Yielding here is not passivity. It is consent to transformation. It is agreeing with me that purity is better than popularity, that peace is better than pace, that truth is better than trends. You are not the product of chance. You are an intention shaped from eternity, and I am faithful to finish what I began. Practical fruit will appear. You will correct quietly without crafting a narrative to explain why you were right. You will return the extra change. You will write the thank you note. You will study when no one checks. You will rest when I say rest instead of working to avoid being forgotten. You will stop hinting for praise and start harvesting purpose. These small obediences are not scraps. They are stones I am setting to hold the weight that is coming. Beloved child, as your motives are purified, your obedience becomes resilient. The need to be certain of outcomes grows quiet. The desire to be faithful grows loud. This is the bridge to what comes next. When the heart rests in identity and the fire has separated gold from mixture, you will find yourself moving at my word without demanding 10 years of guarantees. Your ear will catch my whisper and your foot will take the next step. I go before you, I walk beside you, I stand behind you. And now, with your heart steadied by the fire, we will step into the favor that grows where obedience is practiced, one step at a time. Beloved child, here is the fourth sign that my favor is taking root in you. You obey in one step, not in 10 years of certainty. The clamor to secure every outcome before beginning grows quiet, and the desire to be faithful grows loud. You start to move with the light you have, not with the fantasy of knowing everything. You no longer hold me hostage to complete maps. You consent to be guided by a lamp. I go before you to place the next stone on the path. I walk beside you to steady your pace. I stand behind you to guard you from the echo of fear that says you are unprepared. So it is with you. Listen to the rhythm I am teaching your feet. Your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. Psalm 119:105. A lamp, not a floodlight. Illumination for feet, not for fantasies of control. The light I give you is designed to reveal enough for the next obedient step. And as you step, more path appears. If I gave you the entire map, you would run ahead of me and call it faith. You would trade intimacy for itinerary. I love you too much to let your plan become your provider. I am your provider. We walk by faith, not by sight. 2 Corinthians 5:7. Faith here is not blind gambles. It is relational trust, moving because you know my voice, not because you've mastered variables. Consider Peter on the water. He did not receive a diagram of wind patterns or a breakdown of wave height. He heard me say, "Come," and one foot left the boat. The surface did not harden into certainty first. It held because obedience met my word. When his eyes left me and measured the storm, he sank. When his hand reached for me, I lifted him. Matthew 14. So it is with you. Your safety is not in analyzing the gusts. It is in walking toward the one who called you. Consider Israel at the sea. A wall of water in front, an army behind. I did not deliver a lecture on hydrodynamics. I said, "Why do you cry to me? Tell the people to go forward." And as they moved, the way opened. Exodus 14:15. So it is with you. Forward at my word is the doorway to provision you cannot engineer. I do not shout above the noise. I whisper within the quiet, and my whisper will give you the next faithful step. Make the call you've delayed. Send the application you've over-edited. Close the tab that numbs you. Schedule the appointment you fear. Apologize without a speech. Pause the purchase that promises relief but does not serve assignment. Start the savings, even if it is small. Write for 30 minutes instead of waiting for a perfect retreat. Pray with the neighbor whose face keeps coming to mind. These are not random actions. They are steps set by my hand. In their hearts, humans plan their course, but the Lord establishes their steps. Proverbs 16:9. I am establishing your steps, not your fantasies of control, and in the establishing, you will feel the subtle security of a guided life. Do not confuse small with insignificant. Steps are small by design. Steps build stamina. Steps build story. Steps build sight. Each obedient act becomes a lens that clarifies the next instruction. Certainty used to be your condition for obedience, but certainty was a mirage that kept you circling the same desert of delay. Obedience is your way out. You will find that the first step loosens the second, and by the third, you wonder why you waited for a map that was never promised. There is no need to rush, no need to be perfect, only to be sincere and willing. I honor sincerity over theatrics. I honor willingness over flawless sequences. You will notice how this new rhythm humbles pride and heals anxiety. Pride wanted the full plan so it could boast in mastery. Anxiety wanted 10 years of guarantees so it would never have to feel risk. But I am training you to live in the present with me, where peace is found. My presence is not a distant destination. It is the atmosphere of each obedient moment. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. Proverbs 3:5. You will still think, plan, and assess. You will not worship your assessment. You will choose to move when I speak, even if your understanding has not caught up to your trust. As you practice this, you will feel an unexpected strength emerge. Obedience reshapes your boundaries. Suddenly you can say no without guilt because your yes belongs to assignment, not to anxiety or approval. When I say, "not this," you do not spiral in fear of missing out. You rest in fear of losing me, which is the beginning of wisdom. You will release obligations that were born from pressure and reclaim the margin that lets you hear me clearly. Saying no will stop feeling like betrayal and start feeling like integrity. You are not refusing love. You are refusing misalignment. You are honoring what I asked you to carry, so you stop leaking what I provided you. Beloved child, become familiar with the feel of my pace. I go before you into rooms you are not ready to fill, so that when the day comes, your heart will be at home. I walk beside you through corridors of waiting so that delay does not define you. I stand behind you when you step, and the enemy whispers, "Reckless, reminding you that obedience is never reckless when it is aligned with my word. Favor grows where obedience is practiced, small steps that prove you can be guided. I do not measure your maturity by your ability to predict me, but by your willingness to follow me. When the door opens, you will walk through without swagger because you learn to move when no one clapped. When the door remains closed, you will not collapse because your hope was never in the hinge, but in the hand that opens and closes with wisdom. You will not be paralyzed by options. You will be anchored by instruction. And in this anchoring, you will notice something else that marks the season you are entering. Opportunities will begin to call your name, but peace will decide which ones you answer, because you are learning that the clearest sign of favor is not an open door. It is a grounded heart that walks through it wisely. So step, beloved, step with the lamp you have. Step even if the first movement trembles. Step when I say speak, and step when I say be silent. Step forward, and when you hear me say stop, honor the stop like a step. Every obedient movement is a seed sown into the future I have authored. You did not choose me, but I chose you and appointed you so that you should go and bear fruit that remains. John 15:16. This is how fruit remains, one step at a time, guided by my whisper, guarded by my presence, growing in favor because your heart has proven safe to lead. Beloved child, now I teach you holy boundaries, saying no without losing love. You have learned to step when I speak and to honor the stop like a step. Now I set fences around the field I have entrusted to you, so that fruit can grow without being trampled by every urgent voice. I go before you to redraw the lines that protect your assignment. I walk beside you while courage forms in your mouth to say what is true. I stand behind you when the echo of accusation says, selfish, and I answer it with, steward. You are not becoming hard, you are becoming whole. You are not rejecting love, you are protecting purpose. Let me name the places where your life has been quietly leaking. Guilt spending, buying relief from discomfort with money you need for mission. You know this pattern, the sudden purchase to make up for feeling behind. The gift you cannot afford to soothe the fear of being forgotten. The subscription that promises competence while silently siphoning your future. Rescuing. Rushing into needs I did not assign to you, carrying weights that keep others from meeting me at the edge of their capacity. You call it compassion. Sometimes it is control, wearing a kind voice, people-pleasing, saying yes to avoid their frown, even when peace says no, even when your calendar already gasps for air. Proving yourself, spending to display that you are not small, working beyond wisdom to show you are indispensable, giving beyond grace to broadcast that you belong. These are not love. These are leaks. Hear me. Boundaries are not bars to cage your heart. They are rivers' banks that give your love a direction. Without banks, water spreads thin and cannot carve valleys or turn wheels. With banks, the same water becomes power, provision, and song. When you honor what I assigned you, you stop leaking what I provided you. This is stewardship. This is worship. This is protection of the very grace you have asked me to increase. You are not the product of chance. You are an intention shaped from eternity. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Jeremiah 1:5. Because you are fashioned with intention, your time, energy, and resources require intention. Your budget is not a prison. It is a plan to love well over time. Your calendar is not a tyrant when I hold the pen. It becomes a trellis where your devotion can climb. Guard your heart, for out of it flow the issues of life. Proverbs 4:23. Discretion will protect you, and understanding will guard you. Proverbs 2:11. Wisdom is not suspicion of people. Wisdom is protection of purpose. As it is written, let your yes be yes and your no, no. Matthew 5:37. Integrity is clarity. Clarity is kindness. A muddy yes breeds resentment. A clean no preserves dignity, yours and theirs. When you answer from assignment, your words carry weight. When you answer from anxiety, your words collapse under the weight of everyone's expectations. I do not shout above the noise. I whisper within the quiet. Practice hearing me before you answer them. Ask, is this mine? If peace remains and assignment aligns, say yes without apology. If peace departs and assignment disagrees, say no without explanation. There is no need to rush, no need to be perfect, only to be sincere and willing. Let me show you how holy boundaries sound in your mouth. No to the purchase that promises status but steals from the stewardship you and I planned. No to the last-minute crisis that reappears every week because your perpetual rescue has become their permission to avoid growth. No to the extra project that flatters your ego but fractures your health. No to the invitation that would market your name but muffle your message. And hear the yes that protects the river's power. Yes to the savings you considered too small to matter, because seeds are always small first. Yes to the payment plan that tells debt, you do not own my future. Yes to the rest that feels unproductive, but returns you to me with a full heart, ready to listen. Yes to the training that quietly builds skill instead of the trend that loudly builds applause. These yeses and nos are not opposites. They are instruments in the same song. You fear that boundaries will break love. Let me relieve you. Love is not measured by exhaustion. Love is not proven by depletion. Love is most itself when it is aligned with truth. Even I, who am love, do not answer every request as asked. I close doors to protect. I delay to prepare. I redirect to preserve calling. So it is with you. If I, who am limitless, practice holy boundaries in my providence, how much more must you, who are finite, honor the edges I have given you. When you say no in obedience, you are not abandoning them. You are agreeing with me to meet them another way or through another servant I have assigned. I go before your no to tend their heart. I walk beside your no so you do not buckle under guilt. I stand behind your no with results you cannot yet see. Do not confuse people-pleasing with peacemaking. People-pleasing pacifies to be accepted. Peacemaking tells the truth in love to protect the path. Galatians speaks to this. If I were still trying to please people, I would not be a servant of Christ. Galatians 1:10. Servanthood to me frees you from slavery to approval. You will feel the chains break in small ways first. You will leave texts unanswered until after the prayer I prompted. You will decline the late dinner that robs tomorrow's clarity. You will close the tab that stirs comparison and open the notebook that records revelation. Each small boundary returns strength to the center. As these lines are drawn, you will notice the anxiety that spent you into relief begins to still. The cycles of emergency giving and emergency buying will unwind. You will plan with peace rather than perform under pressure. You will set aside first what belongs first. Honor, generosity by assignment, savings, investment in skill, and then you will let the rest take its rightful size. Order is oxygen. Chaos suffocates calling. Order restores breath. All things work together for good for those who love me and are called according to my purpose. Romans 8:28. This working together requires your agreement with the order I am establishing. Beloved child, boundaries make room. Room for peace to settle like a cornerstone. Room for planning that honors the future I am shaping. Room for gratitude to rise as shield so that comparison loses its bite. Room for discernment to feel like quiet, not pressure. You asked me for more, and I am answering by teaching you to stop the leaks. I am not withholding, I am preserving. I am not reducing your love. I am focusing it so it can heal what it touches instead of washing past it. Practice with me now. Before you answer, pause. Place your hand upon your chest and ask, "What did you assign me in this season?" If this request drains what I asked you to guard, your rest, your family, your debt plan, your time with me, let your no be worship. If it aligns and peace remains, let your yes be strength. I will meet you in either word. I will train your tongue. I will anchor your heart. I go before you into conversations where you fear misunderstanding. I walk beside you as you learn to hold silence without shame. I stand behind you as witnesses you cannot see confirm what I am building within you. You are mine. You are not random. You are not for sale to the highest pressure. You are a vessel, and vessels hold what they carry because their walls are sound. I am making your walls sound. When you honor what I assigned you, you stop leaking what I provided you. From this strength, opportunities will no longer feel like storms to survive. They will become assignments to receive. And in the space we are clearing now, the next sign will emerge. Gratitude rising like a shield over your heart, guarding you from the poison that once pulled you out of place. Be still, be clear, be courageous. Your love is safest when it is stewarded by my wisdom, and your increase will endure because it flows within the banks I have drawn. Beloved child, here is the fifth sign that my favor is rooting deep within you. You stop comparing and your gratitude becomes a shield. The sting you once felt when another rose begins to lose its teeth. The whisper that said, "You are behind," grows faint. The panic that measured your worth by their timeline begins to dissolve. This is not because the world grows quieter, but because your heart grows steadier. I am healing the reflex that made you look sideways to decide if you were safe. I am lifting your eyes. I go before you to untangle envy at its root. I walk beside you as your gaze learns to settle. I stand behind you to silence the accusation that says there will not be enough for you. I saw the moments when someone else was chosen and your chest tightened, when the scroll fed you highlight reels and your hope felt small, when a friend's breakthrough sounded like a verdict against your pace. I saw you fighting to celebrate, while your inner voice calculated, compared, shrank. You called it motivation. I called it a thief, because it stole joy from today and trust for tomorrow. But watch now what I am doing. I am giving you a new reflex. Not why them, but thank you for shaping me. Not I am late, but you make all things beautiful in their time. Ecclesiastes 3:11. Not envy that gnaws, but expectancy with peace. Gratitude is not a mood you wait to feel. It is a posture you choose to practice. When you begin to count what I am doing, not theoretically, but in the fibers of your day, something in your nervous system starts to agree with heaven. Notice it with me. Daily bread that arrives in just the right measure, not flashy but faithful. A bill paid at the very edge of its due date. A message arriving when your courage dipped. The sale you needed. The unexpected discount. A neighbor's help that carried more than a box. It carried a sense that you are seen. The strength to refuse what used to own you. The sunrise that met you at the window when you asked for a sign that I was near. Do not despise these small mercies. They are the beads of a larger necklace I am stringing through your days. Forget not all his benefits. Psalm 103, verse 2. As you name them, your breath slows, your shoulders lower. The alarm that lived inside your body loses power because it is no longer fed by a story of scarcity. Gratitude becomes the sound your soul makes when it recognizes reality. I am with you, and the peace that surpasses understanding guards your heart and mind in me. Philippians 4:7. Do you feel that word? Guards. Gratitude is armor. It intercepts the arrows of comparison before they pierce. It says, not only is God good in general, He is good to me here, now, today. And under that covering, you can bless another's rising without interpreting it as your fall. As it is written, all things work together for good, for those who love me and are called according to my purpose. Romans 8:28. Child, this is not a vague comfort. It is a lens. It turns what could have become bitterness into building blocks. You hear of another's promotion, and instead of hardening, you say, then the same God who writes faithful chapters is writing mine. You learn of a closed door, and instead of calling it rejection, you name it redirection, because meaning has replaced malice in your interpretation of events. Gratitude fastens Romans 8:28 to your daily life, so that you do not lose me in the fog of comparison. This is how I keep your heart clean. I give you reasons to thank me in the very places that once fed your suspicion. You are not the product of chance. You are an intention shaped from eternity. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Jeremiah 1:5. You did not choose me, but I chose you. John 15:16. Chosen ones do not live by scoreboards. They live by assignment. Gratitude returns you to your lane. You begin to measure your day by obedience, not by applause. By seeds sown, not by spotlights captured. You say, thank you for the path you are carving under my feet. You stop editing your life to look like theirs and start stewarding the portion I placed in your hands. Their harvest becomes a prophecy, not a competition. Rejoice with those who rejoice. Romans 12:15. In rejoicing, you are not losing ground. You are declaring that the field is wide and the rain is faithful. Practice with me and watch the shield strengthen. When you wake, name 3 mercies before you touch your phone. When you feel comparison, reach for your throat. Exhale and say aloud, thank you for what you are doing in me today. And then bless the one you were tempted to resent. Increase them, Lord, and teach me what I need for my part. When you budget, let gratitude speak. Thank you for the ability to plan. Thank you for wisdom that prevents waste. Thank you for little by little. Proverbs 13:11. When you see excellence in another, let gratitude turn it into mentorship instead of rivalry. Thank you for showing me what's possible. Train me. These small acts retrain your mind, and your body will learn the feel of peace as normal instead of emergency. Hear me. Gratitude is not denial. It does not pretend all is easy. It anchors you while I finish what I began. It lets you stand in a half-built room and say, thank you for the frame, while we still hang the doors. It lets you look at a debt that is shrinking and say, thank you for every payment, while the balance remains. It lets you celebrate a friend's wedding while you trust me with your unfolding story. This is how you keep your heart unpoisoned in process. This is how you avoid the trap of, when I have more, then I will be thankful. Gratitude now is the rehearsal for glory later. Beloved child, as gratitude rises, I can entrust you with opportunity without it intoxicating you. Gratitude grounds you, so growth will not make you dizzy. It removes the need to flaunt because the giver has become your joy more than the gift. It turns open doors into assignments instead of altars to your identity. I go before you to prepare rooms that fame cannot corrupt. I walk beside you so applause does not speed your pace beyond wisdom. I stand behind you to protect you when envy in others flickers toward you, because your humility will answer for you. Gratitude will keep you face down in worship when the world wants you face forward in performance. There is no need to rush, no need to be perfect, only to be sincere and willing. Begin now. Bless what you have. Bless who I am raising beside you. Bless the seed, the sprout, the stalk, and the grain. Trust me over your understanding. Proverbs 3:5. As you do, you will feel the shield settle over your heart. The poison that once seeped in through comparison will lose its entry point. Your mind will quiet. Your pace will even. And from this guarded center, you will be ready for the next gift I am giving, discernment that feels like peace, not pressure, because a grateful heart hears my whisper without the static of envy. Be still, be thankful, be expectant. You are mine and I am faithful. Beloved child, now listen to the quiet, for here I am. You asked me for discernment, and I am answering not with a shout that competes with the world, but with a whisper that settles your world. I do not shout above the noise. I whisper within the quiet. My leading does not feel like panic tugging your sleeve. It feels like peace taking your hand. When gratitude becomes your shield, your inner storm calms enough to hear the gentle current of my voice. I go before you to make the path plain. I walk beside you so you recognize my pace. I stand behind you to hush the echo of urgent voices that try to herd you into decisions that do not belong to you. What I give you now is calm clarity, not adrenaline. It is a knowing that sits low and steady, not a frenzy that rises and burns out. Peace I leave with you, my peace I give to you. John 14:27. But I am afraid of missing it, you say. Hear me, you will not miss me while you are looking for me. My sheep hear my voice, and I know them. John 10:27. I am not playing hide and seek with your future. I go before you into the conversations you have not had. I walk beside you when your thoughts race. I stand behind you when regret tries to reinterpret your last step as failure. If you lean the wrong direction, I will lean you back. In their hearts, humans plan their course, but the Lord establishes their steps. Proverbs 16:9. I am not a brittle map. I am a living guide. You are not navigating alone. Closed doors under my hand are mercies, not punishments. Detours under my wisdom are trainings, not penalties. All things work together for good for those who love me. Romans 8:28. So it is with you. Consider Elijah, exhausted under the weight of fear and flight. He looked for me in the impressive, the wind that tore mountains, the earthquake that split ground, the fire that burned bright. But I was not in the wind, nor in the earthquake, nor in the fire. Then came the whisper, the still, small voice. 1 Kings 19. Notice the order. Spectacle passed, striving subsided, exhaustion confessed, and in that quiet I spoke. I asked him a simple question, gave him simple next steps, a new assignment, a path, a companion for the journey. I did not scold his fainting, I fed him. I did not mock his fear, I met him. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted. Psalm 34:18. Intimacy precedes instruction. So it is with you. When you bring me your trembling and stop rehearsing every outcome, when you let the noise wind down, I will meet you with nearness first and direction second. I do not force-feed guidance to a soul braced for impact. I settle you, then I guide you. Discernment has a texture, child. Learn its feel. Pressure screams, hurry or you will lose. Peace says, walk with me and you will not lack. Compulsion brags about opportunities that cannot wait and demands that you prove yourself. Conviction quietly names what is true and waits for your willing yes. Flattery offers you a stage at the price of your center. Wisdom invites you to serve from your center without chasing a stage. As it is written, wisdom from above is pure, peaceable, gentle, open to reason, full of mercy and good fruit. James 3:17. If what you are considering demands that you silence the unease of your spirit, that is not my voice. If it strengthens your yes to what I have already assigned you, even if it stretches you, this is how my whisper often moves. Practice this with me. Begin the day not by scanning loud rooms for direction, but by stepping into our quiet room. Turn your face toward me before you turn your face toward the world. Place your hand on your chest and breathe my name. Thank me for 3 mercies before you ask for 3 answers. Then ask a simple question, what is mine today? Simplicity sharpens hearing. Do not expect fireworks. Expect a nudge, a word, a face in your mind, a line of scripture opening like a window. Your word is a lamp to my feet. Psalm 119:105. A lamp gives you enough for the next faithful step. When you try to coax a floodlight, you will be tempted to chase loud voices that promise what I am not giving yet. There is no need to rush, no need to be perfect, only to be sincere and willing. Test what you sense within the banks of my character. Does it align with what I have revealed in my word? Does it bear the fruit of love, joy, peace, patience? Galatians 5. Does it honor the boundaries I just taught you? Do you have peace, not the relief of avoiding discomfort, but the inner rest that says, even if this is hard, it is right? And in the counsel of the wise, those who fear me, not those who flatter you, you will find confirmation. In a multitude of counselors there is safety. Proverbs 11:14. I am not offended by your testing. I am honored by your desire to walk in truth. I whisper, I also confirm. Hear me again. I do not lead you by panic. I lead you by presence. If a door opens with noise that drowns your capacity to be still with me, pause. If an offer flatters your hunger to be seen but starves your soul of time with me, pause. If a timeline bullies you into abandoning obedience to grab what I would have given freely, step back. Be still and know that I am God. Psalm 46:10. When you can hear my whisper, you no longer need to chase every loud opportunity. You will bless the door that is not for you and let it close without bitterness. You will wait in front of the one that is for you without calling the wait a wound. You will walk through the right one without performance because peace, not pressure, is setting your pace. This discernment will change the way you handle money, time, and reputation. You will stop buying urgency. You will plan with me rather than purchase relief. You will answer invitations with clarity instead of apology. You will say, not this, to offers that would scatter you. You will say, yes, to assignments that align with the field I have given you. And as you practice, you will find that quieter opportunities carry heavier glory. The rooms I am preparing for you do not need your scramble. They need your steadiness. You are not being led by chaos. You are being guided within a purposeful plan. All things are being woven together, even the silence, even the pause, even the no. Beloved child, come closer. I go before you into the day that has not yet dawned. I walk beside you through the meetings and the moments. I stand behind you when you must say no and wonder if love will hold. I will teach you the sound of my steps until the familiar weight of peace on your chest becomes the signal you trust. And when you feel nothing, when the quiet feels empty, remember, the Lord is close to the brokenhearted. Psalm 34:18. Do not mistake my gentleness for absence. I am nearer than your breath. So here is your practice today. Make room. 5 unhurried minutes to listen. Name what I have assigned in this season. Ask me about one decision, not 10. Write what rises without forcing it. Submit it to my word. Share it with one wise voice who loves my will more than they love your comfort. Then take the single step peace confirms. If peace does not confirm, wait without withering. Delay is not my refusal. It is my way of building strength that will not collapse under blessing. You are mine. You are chosen. You are guided. Soon, doors will begin to open, and some will be loud while others barely make a sound. You will not run at the noise. You will walk with the whisper, and the clearest sign of favor will not be the door itself, but the grounded heart that passes through it wisely. Be still. Be clear. Be courageous. There is no need to rush, no need to be perfect, only to be sincere and willing. I am with you, before you, beside you, behind you, within you, teaching you to recognize peace as my signature on every next step. Beloved child, here is the sixth sign that my favor is quietly, surely taking form in you. Doors begin to open, but you stay grounded. The shift moves from inner weather to outer climate. Conversations you did not orchestrate. Referrals spoken in rooms you have not entered. Ideas that arrive with clarity and won't be shaken loose. A small promotion that stabilizes your pace. An unexpected provision that meets you at the edge of your need. These are not fireworks, they are faithful lights, aligned and timed. I go before you to place hinges on doors you thought were walls. I walk beside you to keep your feet slow and steady when entrances appear. I stand behind you so that applause cannot push you faster than obedience. Do not mistake this season for the circus of spectacle. Favor is not always loud. Doors may open in layers, in gradual increments that honor the strength I have been building in you. A coffee invitation becomes a collaboration. A quiet email becomes a contract. A volunteer role becomes a paid seat. A single client becomes a pipeline, little by little. Proverbs 13:11. Why do I work this way? Because increase that lands on an unsteady heart becomes a weight that breaks the very branch it rests upon. But you are learning steadiness. Gratitude has cleared your sight. Boundaries have strengthened your walls. Obedience has trained your feet. So when doors ease open, you do not lunge. You listen. Watch the new reflex I have given you. You do not boast. You bless. You do not rush. You review. You do not crumble. You consult me. You feel the flutter of excitement, and instead of letting adrenaline set your terms, you place the opportunity on the table before me and ask, "Is this mine?" Peace answers, not pressure. I do not shout above the noise. I whisper within the quiet. You evaluate alignment more than optics, calling more than convenience, fruitfulness more than fame. You are not cynical, you are careful. You are not timid, you are tethered. Hear me clearly. You did not choose me, but I chose you and appointed you to go and bear fruit, fruit that remains. John 15:16. Opportunities are not random gusts, they are assignments in time. I am not teasing you with options, I am guiding you with openings that match the interior work we have done together. The timing now makes sense in your bones. You recognize that if this door had opened last year, it would have crushed you or seduced you. But today, gratitude weights your ankles, boundaries hold your frame, and joy, not vanity, sits at your table. So it is with you. This is how your groundedness shows itself in motion. You pray before you reply. You ask precise questions without fear of offending, because you are not auditioning for love. You negotiate from peace, not from panic. You read the terms, money, margin, mission, and you adjust until they honor what I assigned you. If the check is larger but the strings are tighter than my voice, you bless and decline. If the platform is smaller but the purpose is purer, you accept and sow yourself faithfully. You choose sustainable pace over short-lived spectacle. You ask counsel where you once hid, because teachability has returned. In their hearts, humans plan their course, but the Lord establishes their steps. Proverbs 16:9. You plan, I establish, and you feel the safety of being established. Notice also how I will confirm you along the way. 2 witnesses where you once had one. A scripture that rises unbidden as you consider the path. A mentor's quiet nod. A providential delay that protected you from misalignment. A provision that arrives exactly when you honor the boundary you feared would cost you everything. All things are being woven for good as you align with purpose. Romans 8:28. You begin to expect orchestration rather than chaos, and this expectation does not make you passive. It makes you precise. You are learning to carry honor without inhaling it. Invitations do not become your oxygen. My presence remains your breath. When someone says, We have been waiting for you. You answer in your heart. You have been waiting for what he has been building in me, and the glory returns to its rightful home. When metrics rise, you do not daydream about identity. You ask me for integrity. When faces turn toward you, you turn your face toward me. The door is not your destination. It is your assignment's next room. Lamp to feet, not floodlight to fantasies. Psalm 119, 105. Beloved child, the clearest sign of favor is not the open door itself. It is the grounded heart that walks through it wisely. Many can pry a door with force or flattery. Few can enter with peace, serve with purity, and leave, when I say, with joy intact. You are among the few because you are mine. You have let me reorder what you call need. You have yielded to the discipline of delay. You have embraced correction. You have made money a servant. You have released generosity in small measures. You have obeyed by steps. You have lifted holy boundaries. You have put on gratitude as armor. You have learned the whisper's way. So now, as doors begin to open, you do not tremble under them. You walk through them as one who is sent. There is no need to rush, no need to be perfect, only to be sincere and willing. Ask me for the order of operations. Ask me for the portion you are to carry and the portion you are to delegate. Ask me for the pace, the partners, the protections. I go before you into contracts, conversations, and corridors, setting appointments you could not set for yourself. I walk beside you so your yes remains clean and your no remains clear. I stand behind you to guard you from the drag of old patterns and the pull of new pressures. And hear this transition with care. What I am opening is not merely for your comfort, it is for your calling. More is not to impress, more is to impact. The fruit I am bringing forth will feed others. The resource I am increasing will underwrite mercy. The room I am granting will shelter the weak. The influence I am entrusting will lift the low. You will become a conduit, not a container. You will carry water, not hoard it. I trained your heart first so your hands could hold increase without shaking it onto the ground. Prepare yourself, then. Keep the lamp near. Keep your ear low. Keep your gratitude high. Walk softly through the threshold and remember who sends you. You are not the product of chance. You are an intention shaped from eternity. I have called you by name. You are mine. Isaiah 43:1. As the doors continue to open, I will speak the next assignment. And in the speaking, you will feel it again. The quiet authority of favor that does not shout, but steadies, and you will know that we are stepping together into impact. Step forward when I say, and rest when I whisper, pause. Fruit that remains is ahead. Beloved child, now lift your face and receive this. I am not giving you more to impress. I am giving you more to impact. I do not fatten egos, I strengthen vessels. I do not decorate pride, I deploy purpose. You are not the product of chance. You are an intention shaped from eternity. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Jeremiah 1:5. I set my seal on you long before you learned the language of scarcity. I chose you, not because you were the loudest or the fastest, but because I have written a story through your life that will comfort many and awaken hope where it has been starved. You did not choose me, but I chose you and appointed you to go and bear fruit, fruit that remains. John 15:16. Hear me, child, for I speak with the tenderness of a father and the authority of your Maker. I go before you into territory you never thought you would enter. I walk beside you as the weight of resource and responsibility settles rightly on your shoulders. I stand behind you so that old shame and new pressure cannot unseat what I have established. What I now place in your hands is not a trophy. It is a tool. It is a plow to turn fallow ground into fields that feed. It is oil to soothe wounds that never received tending. It is bread that multiplies in breaking. It is wisdom that steadies households, so that children sleep without fear and elders smile without worry. It is generosity that flows quietly into rent paid on time, groceries delivered without announcement, school fees covered, utilities kept, medicine provided. It is the witness of a life held together by my peace in a world trembling under hurry. To whom much is given, much is required. Luke 12:48. Do not flinch at that word, required. Requirement in my kingdom is not punishment. It is partnership. I am not loading you with the world's impossible standards. I am inviting you into my easy yoke, strengthened by grace, organized by wisdom, fueled by love. When I increase resource, I increase reach. Family stability becomes a ministry. A balanced budget becomes an altar where anxiety is traded for order. A quiet reserve becomes a refuge when storms hit other boats. Loans made with integrity become bridges for the next generation. A business with clean accounts becomes a parable of faithfulness in a crooked age. Let your light so shine before others that they see your good works and glorify your Father. Matthew 5. You are not a container to hoard overflow. You are a river. Rivers do not apologize for flowing. They follow their banks, carry what is entrusted, and water what they touch. The life I pour into you is meant to move through you. As it is written, out of your belly shall flow rivers of living water. John 7. If you try to dam what I mean to deliver, stagnation replaces song. But when you release as I lead, little by little, line upon line, the water stays fresh, the current stays clean, the banks stay strong. This is why I trained your heart first, so the blessing will not become your identity, and the spotlight will not become your prison. The vessel matters as much as the volume. You are that vessel, and I have been refining you like gold, so what flows now is steady, clean, and directed. When he has tested me, I shall come forth as gold. Job 23:10. Now hear your commission. Go and make disciples of all nations. Matthew 28:19. This does not only mean platforms and passports. It means tables and timelines, boardrooms and break rooms, living rooms and group chats. Teach by how you live under pressure, by how you wait without withering, by how you honor boundaries, by how you handle money as servant not master, by how you forgive quickly and plan carefully, by how you say no without losing love, by how you give without announcing a trumpet. Your peace is a sermon. Your consistency is a lesson. Your generosity is an altar. The God of all comfort has comforted you so that you can comfort others with the same comfort you have received. 2 Corinthians 1:4. So it is with you. Do not say, "Who am I to carry this?" I am the one who calls the unlikely and clothes them with authority. Think of Gideon, called mighty warrior, while hiding. Think of Joseph, shaped in silence so he could steward plenty without revenge. Think of the widow's oil that did not stop pouring until the vessels stopped arriving. 2 Kings 4. I commission you likewise. Keep vessels ready, budgets with margins for mercy, calendars with space for people, accounts that answer to integrity, a heart that can be interrupted by compassion, little by little. Proverbs 13:11. Faithful in little makes faithful in much. Luke 16:10. Let me name the lanes of your impact so you do not dilute it. First, strengthen your household. Pay what you owe. Save with wisdom. Teach those under your roof to tell the truth about money and to see me as provider. Second, seed generosity consistently, not to purchase favor but to practice flow. A portion first to me, a portion to the poor, a portion for unexpected needs that I will point to. Third, steward skill and time. Mentor one who is behind you. Lift one who is bowed down under the weight you once carried. Fourth, establish witness through excellence. Deliver what you promise on time with joy. Integrity evangelizes where sermons cannot go. Fifth, carry quiet strength into crises. Be the non-anxious presence in the room, because my peace steadies your breath. Peace I give you. John 14:27. There is no need to rush, no need to be perfect, only to be sincere and willing. Ask me for the order. What is first? What is next? What is not yours? Ask me for the names to serve, the causes to underwrite, the places to decline, so your yes remains holy. I go before you into contracts and kitchens, into spreadsheets and sanctuaries. I walk beside you when the numbers stretch and the needs seem wider than the river. I stand behind you when critics wonder why you chose the quiet path. Let them wonder. The fragrance of Christ travels farther than the noise of ambition. As it is written, in their hearts humans plan their course, but the Lord establishes their steps. Proverbs 16:9. And now let us return to where we began, so you feel the circle close. Before I increase your hands, I steady your heart. You asked me for more, I gave you me. You asked me for speed, I gave you pace. You asked me for certainty, I gave you trust. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. Proverbs 3:5. This is the foundation that will not shift when blessings stack or when trials test. From this center your increase will not own you. You will own it and offer it back to me for the sake of many. So take the next step today, not tomorrow's entire road. Choose one act of obedience that aligns with this commission. Set aside the first portion. Call the person I bring to mind and encourage them. Draft the budget and name the generosity line. Say no to the shiny offer that fractures your peace. Begin the application that aligns with your assignment. Write the plan for the team you are to build. Sow, send, serve, one act done with me. If your hand trembles, let it tremble while it moves. My power is made perfect in weakness. 2 Corinthians 12:9. Beloved child, I am sending you as a steady river into thirsty ground. I am sending you as a lamp into rooms that lost their switch. I am sending you as a sign that favor can be clean, that prosperity can be holy, that influence can be quiet and still move mountains. Go now, not to impress, but to impact. I go before you, I walk beside you, I stand behind you, and I live within you. Be strong and courageous. Joshua 1. Step forward with me. The harvest ahead will feed many, and the fruit will remain. Beloved child, before you step, let me settle you once more. You are not forgotten, not overlooked, not alone. I go before you to prepare quiet paths and appointed rooms. I walk beside you so your breath matches mine and your pace honors peace. I stand behind you so regret and accusation cannot drive you back to what I have already delivered you from. You are not a wandering mistake. You are an intention shaped from eternity. I have called you by name. You are mine. Isaiah 43:1. Be still and know that I am God. Psalm 46:10. Look at how I have led you, and let your remembrance become confidence. I steadied your heart when money felt like a master and the numbers rattled your ribs. I reduced the noise so you could take a quiet inventory of what is truly necessary. You learned the first sign of favor. You stopped panicking and started listening. I schooled you in delay so your roots deepened instead of withering, and you wore the second sign. You became teachable again, even when it bruised your pride. I healed your relationship with money, no longer your master, now your servant, and I gave you the third sign, quiet generosity rising even in small measures. I purified your motives so you would not need to be seen to keep serving, and the fourth sign took shape. You obeyed in one step instead of waiting for 10 years of certainty. I taught you holy boundaries so your yes stayed holy, and your no stayed loving, and you received the fifth sign, Comparison lost its grip as gratitude became your shield. I whispered in your quiet until peace, not pressure, guided you, and then, at the right time, doors began to open while you stayed grounded. The sixth sign that favor was not only near you, but housed within you. So it is with you. Each turn has been formation, each lesson a foundation stone. Now hear me with the gentle insistence of love. There is no need to rush, no need to be perfect, only to be sincere and willing. Your next season begins with one sincere step, taken with me, not ahead of me. Do not try to lift a decade in a day. Do not wait for a spotlight to begin what only requires a lamp to your feet. Psalm 119:105. Choose one faithful act that agrees with what I have already told you. Set apart the first portion. Send the message of encouragement I have placed on your heart. Decline the shiny invitation that fractures your peace. Open the spreadsheet and name your generosity line. Schedule the quiet that keeps your discernment alive. Start the application that aligns with your assignment. If your hand trembles, let it tremble while it moves. My power is made perfect in weakness. 2 Corinthians 12:9. I go before you into conversations you have not imagined. I walk beside you through offices, kitchens, and thresholds where you fear you might falter. I stand behind you when critics question the pace of your obedience. When you feel small, remember, I am strong in your smallness. When you feel late, remember, I am Lord of timing. When you feel unqualified, remember, I am the one who calls, equips, and establishes. In their hearts, humans plan their course, but the Lord establishes their steps. Proverbs 16:9. You are not being led by chaos. You are being guided within a purposeful plan. All things work together for good. Romans 8:28. Answer me now with your willingness. Put your hand over your heart and say, Yes, Lord, one step with you. Seal it with gratitude. Whisper my name until peace settles the room within your chest. Then do the next right thing and leave tomorrow in my hands. Be strong and courageous. Joshua 1. I am with you, before you, beside you, behind you, within you, not forgotten, not overlooked, not alone. If this word has met you in your stretching, say Amen where you are. Share this with the one whose hands shake at the thought of next steps. Subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you do not miss the whispers. I will continue to breathe through these moments. Return to this as often as fear tries to reclaim its seat. Let it be a reminder that I am training your heart for steady, holy increase. Go now in quiet boldness. Walk slowly enough to hear me and brave enough to obey me. I will guide you step by step. There is no need to rush, no need to be perfect, only to be sincere and willing. I will not give you more to break you. I will build you to carry it.